Good morning. Okay, so today, based on the new bail statute, the judge had to give Mr. Weinstein 3 different forms of bail. So it provides an option for defendants as to keep it least onerous as possible on defendants. That's the purpose of this. So 3 different options were given. Essentially, it's not much different than what his initial bail was. In order to keep him monitored, because under the new statute, you can't force defendants to pay for monitoring. So there's a way that we fashioned a bail where it can be an insurance bond in addition to the bond he already has, which then allows the bail bondsman to monitor him and his coming back to court. As it was made very clear in court today, Mr. Weinstein is looking forward to January 6th, as he has from the very beginning. And I would like to remind everyone that Mr. Weinstein has a right to a fair trial. He is believed to be innocent until proven guilty under the laws of this great country. And if we fail to recognize that or remember that, we're not only doing Mr. Weinstein a disservice, we're doing all of us a disservice. And I think the problem that I've had, especially as of late, especially given the prosecutor's desire to try to gag me from speaking to all of you, is that Mr. Weinstein has a right to cross-examine and question his accusers. He has a right to ask questions. He has a right through his lawyers to cross-examine the stories that they tell, which we intend to do, and we have a right to do. And in doing so, it is not victim shaming. It is not putting people in circumstances that they were not going to be put in any other circumstance for any other case. And just because a woman makes a claim does not mean that it is true. And just because Mr. Weinstein is accused of a crime does not mean that he is guilty. He is having surgery tomorrow for his back. We insisted that he use a walker today. The press berated him last week and said he was faking and he was pretending. We wanted him to use a walker last week, and Mr. Weinstein didn't want the press to think he was seeking sympathy. He is in pain, he's having surgery, and we will be back in court on January 6th for trial. I'll take a couple of questions.
Which bail are you?
I'm sorry.
Could you explain the bail with me?
So Mr. Weinstein initially posted $1 million cash bail. That bail is exonerated, and that in conjunction with some other assets will assure the judge believes will ensure his presence back in court. And the only way that he could still monitor him under the new statute is by placing an insurance bond where a bail bondsman must be involved, and then there can be a requirement through the bail bondsman to monitor him with an ankle device. So that's why that's the option that we agreed to.
So no cash is up right now.
Other than the cash that was originally posted on his original bond and other assets, there's no additional issues.
$1 million that was right before?
I'm sorry?
There was also $1 million.
I can't understand. I'm sorry. 10 million?
50 million.
No, the judge, you have to, under the new statute, you must give 3 different forms of bail, 3 options. So the judge lists 3 options. They really mean nothing other than the fact that Mr. Weinstein has a right to choose. But given what we knew the concerns were, we were willing, as Mr. Weinstein said last week, we were willing to take on the monitoring because he's happy to be monitored. There's no issue. So if that was an issue for the court, we were willing to do that whether or not the statute allowed for it or not.
But what's the total amount right now?
Guys, what is everybody not understanding about this? It's a $2 million insurance bond. That's all you need to say. It's a $2 million insurance bond. It's secured by his original bond plus additional assets.
Is the money an issue for him at home?
That's not an issue. I'm not going to comment.
Donna, can you talk about the violations? 7.
There were no violations. These are technical issues with regard to a battery, and Ms. Illuzzi attempts to make mountains out of molehills when it comes to that issue. He wants the issue regarding the charging of that device was resolved, there were no more issues. And she claims that Mr. Weinstein waited until she made us aware of this. She didn't make us aware of it until just before October 23rd, and the issue was resolved on October 7th. And again, if she was so worried about it, why weren't we in court on October 8th or September 14th or September 21st? This was ridiculous. This was a reason to come to court and attempt to increase a bail that had no real reason to be increased. Anybody else? Okay, thank you.